was that I had 5 years of internship in a different company. You guys know what I mean? It was my internship, and I came in here, with something, two things that I knew that I had to do. I got to become a presenter right away. I knew that, and number two, I had to promote from event to event to event and build from event to event. That was my biggest advantage. I already knew that. I was non-negotiable about that. So the last two topics are key. From promoting events to launching an event which sustains your momentum. But now we're going to talk about how you can create momentum. And my topic today is really about PBRs. And really the mindset of a PBR, because the true business of Kayani is setting up distribution points. You see, every distributor is a distribution point. And we want to increase our customer count up by increasing our distribution points up. Massive distribution points all over the country and all over the world is the name of the game. Right. And for every sale there's in your distribution network, you get paid. But can you guys agree with me that we have to build, in order to do this, we have to be systematic about it? Because are there busy people out there? Yeah. Absolutely. Do they have families? Do they have jobs, responsibilities, right? So a good system, write this down, a good system, number one, works without you. Number two, works in distance. And number three, works in depth. That's a system. And I've never seen that's without you, in depth, and in distance. Without you, in depth, and distance. So I've never seen any other system better than a done-for-you model. And how this is it's not just about the technology side. It's about the fact that this is branding. What really exploded Team Fusion was the brand of the done-for-you model. It wasn't just because everybody's online go ahead and sending out messages. That works too, obviously, that's part of it. But it's the brand, and I'm going to go over that right now. So my topic today is really PBR, and I want to tell you guys, this is so key. So key, because when I realized that my first 2 months, I didn't have too much success. In fact, my first 30 days in business, I didn't even hit J. It took me 38 days to hit J. It took me 60 days to hit Pearl. Wow. But here's what happens. From the day 60th to my 90th day, that first week I went Sapphire. The following week I went Ruby. The following week I went Emerald. And the last 15 minutes of the month, of November of 2 years ago, I went diamond. So I went from Pearl to diamond. Can I show you how I did that? Yes. Are you guys ready? Yes. All right, I want you to take a lot of notes, and I'm going to go really, really fast because I have an hour and a half training that I have to condense in 30 minutes. So pay really close attention, because if you get this and you start duplicating this, man, diamondship is just around the corner for every single one of you. So let's talk about PBRs, okay? First thing we want to talk, the anatomy of a PBR is this. Number one, we have to fill the room. So in order for you to have a PBR, you got to have people in the room, yes or no? Yes. And then we also have to talk about the logistics of the PBR. What happens within the PBR? We're going to talk about that. And finally, follow up, how to close the PBR, how to help people move people into action. Okay, so let's go over this right now. All right. First thing I want you to know, I want to talk to you about the mindset of recruiting. Because recruiting is also a mindset. A big part of this is you being having the right mindset to go out there and recruit. And I love this quote. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. I'm telling you guys, Benjamin Disraeli said this. He said that the human will, there's nothing more powerful than the human will that stakes its existence on its purpose. So there's nothing more powerful than the human will that stakes its existence on its purpose. What simply put, that means that whatever it takes. That means that failure is not an option. So you got to have that mindset that you're going to make this work no matter what. You see, because people are looking for cracks in your armor, let me tell you. They're looking for you being doubting, being unsure. But when that person is for sure, and they know, they're 100% belief, it's game over, guys. Because it shows up in everything that you do. It shows up in the way you walk. It shows up in your demeanor. It shows up in the way you talk. I mean, people see confidence out of you. That's when people get excited about it, because they say, man, wow, something's different about dating. That's what they start thinking to themselves. So you got to be in that position. You got to get fired up for your dreams, guys. What does you on fire look like? What does you on a mission look like? What does you inspired look like? That's what you have to be. So that's the first thing. Number one is that mindset. Because if you have that mindset, forget it, guys. People they're attracted to that. People are attracted to confidence, yes or no? Yes. So this is the first thing. You gotta adopt that. You gotta get fired up, guys. If you don't get fired up for your dreams, let me warn you, nobody's gonna do it for you. Nobody's gonna do it for me. So you gotta get fired up for your own dreams. Who's fired up here? I believe you. All right, good. All right, let's talk about the mindset of inviting. Number one, you wanna be excited. You wanna be your job is to be excited. That's what your job is. You got to get fired up, okay? Excited. You got to show passion. Be passionate about this. How many of you guys can get excited about a product that builds value in people's lives? Is that something to be passionate about? Yes or no? Absolutely. It really is, guys. And if you're not passionate about this product yet, go on YouTube and go look at all the product testimonials. Then you're going to get fired up and passionate about it. You realize that what we're doing right now is an amazing thing. You got to have urgency when you invite. Most people, when they're invited, say, hey, what are you doing? Can you come this Thursday? Oh, you can? You're busy? You're going to be playing video games? All right. You're going to be, you went to the bar instead? Okay, never mind. I'll call you later. You got to have urgency with this. This is huge. Okay, you got to when you're inviting, you got to be exclusive. It's very key. Many times when we teach when we're inviting people, and let's say I'm inviting someone to look at a business, to look at our business, at the very end, we'll do a little statement that says something like, hey, I don't know if this is a good fit for the both of us, but we'll see. We'll see. And when I invite and I finish that little statement, I just kind of took it away. I'm going to tie it all in right now. Okay, you want to be brief. You see that's capitalized? Let me tell you something. And when I was in a different company, I remember this guy that he had more guests than anybody, always at every DFY. I mean, that's the equivalent of that meeting. Man, he had more guests than everybody, every single week, and he was just rank advancing. One day I was like, man, I need to find out what this guy's doing. So I came up to him, I said, hey, what are you doing? And you know, he told me, David, I can't tell you. You're not in my team, I just can't tell you. I don't benefit from you, so I just can't tell you. And I remember I was like, damn, but he doesn't know me. The very following meeting, I brought a coffee. Hey, buddy, how's it going? And he was talking to his guests, and I was like, hey, here's your coffee, but don't worry, talk to your guests. After the guests, hey, so what are you doing? How did you get them? How did you invite them? And he's like, David, I told you, I can't tell you. You're not in my team, you don't benefit, I just can't. You know, it's a team secret. And I was like, all right, but he doesn't know me. So the very next following week, I brought donuts and coffee this time. And I'm like, hey, this is for you. And finally he was like, you know what, David? I can tell that you're not going to leave me alone.
That's right.
Smart guy. He goes, I will tell you. But if I tell you, you have to promise to never tell anybody. And he told me. And when he told me that, and I remember those wise words that he gave me, and I applied it on that month of November of 2014, man, I went from pearl to diamond in 1 month. Would you like me to tell you what he told me? Yes. I can't tell you. Here's what he told me. He said, David, curiosity. You're explaining too much. You're saying too much over the phone. You go into this explanation of telling people everything over the phone. When my job, he said, David, your job is to simply pique someone's interest. That's it. Pick their interest and then pass them over. Pique their interest. Your job is to be a 30-second commercial. That's what your job. So your job is to be brief. You got to be a 30-second commercial and let the webinar, let the presenter be the movie. I hate it when people tell me they need a movie. I really do. It has happened. Did you guys? Some of you have heard me say this because I talk about it all the time. It's the funniest thing ever. And then what happens is, how many of you heard the Star Wars story that I told? Okay, most of you haven't heard. I gotta tell you. All right, this happened in California. In the opening day of Star Wars, okay? So, you know the opening day of Star Wars, what do they have? They have like a big line of, they're serious. You have Chewbacca, you have a stormtrooper there, you got some serious committed people. You know, they're there. So the very first show, this guy leaves the very first show, and then there's the lines for the second show, and he walks out, he yells out the ending of the movie. Now, how many of you guys saw Star Wars, the new one that came out? Okay, some of you. So you understand, that was like a big deal. What happened at the ending, it was like, it was one of those moments. And he yelled it out. You know what happened to him? He got jumped. He got jumped by a stormtrooper, Chewbacca, and Boba Fett. It gets better. The police sheriff was called. And it was opening day of Star Wars, so guess what? There's media, there's everything, there's like big deal. And now, the police sheriff was called. And when he found out what this guy did, he was like, he went on TV, on national television, and he said, this was a justifiable assault. They let Chewbacca, the stormtrooper, and Boba Fett go to the movie, and they took the guy to the hospital. Moral of the story. If you spoil the ending of the movie, Chewbacca will kick your ass. All right? So don't do it. All right, don't chase people, okay? But what happens is when we start calling people, we start chasing them. And when you chase someone, what is the tendency when you chase someone? They run the opposite direction, don't they? So you want to keep your posture up and don't chase. I'm going to show you a couple of techniques of how not to do that. All right, so let's talk about this. Okay, so here's the system, and Mr. Andres Mendoza talked about it a little bit, but here's a few systems. Peak, invite, three-way confirmation. Peak, invite, three-way confirmation. Hey, by the way, I'm going to post these slides in the Team Fusion website, on Team Fusion's Facebook, for you. Because I want people here for you guys to do this. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, because I want you guys to pay attention to it instead of just writing things down, unless like an aha idea comes around. All right, so the second one is peak, edify, pass, three-way call. Then we have peak, webinar, edify, three-way call. All these systems, I used them all, and they all work successfully. But we're going to focus on these two right now, on the peak, invite, three-way confirmation, and peak, edify, pass, three-way call. Okay, let's dig into this. When you're inviting, this is a three-way call script that I've been using for the last 2 years very successfully. Versus just calling people and explaining. Because you got to always realize what your objective is. Is your objective explaining 9 levels of generational payout? Is your objective to explain what the packages have and the prices of the packages? Absolutely not. Your objective is to get someone to look at a webinar, to come to a PBR and look at the presentation. That's what your objective is. So let's read this. Let's say I'm calling John. Say, hey, hi John, you have a quick minute? John says, yeah, sure, what's up? Man, I'm so excited. And I want to tell you, let me rewind here. All right, guys. They let Chewbacca, the stormtrooper, and Boba Fett go to the movie, and they took the guy to the hospital. Moral of the story. If you spoil the ending of the movie, Chewbacca will kick your ass. All right? So don't do it. All right, don't chase people, okay? But what happens is when we start calling people, we start chasing them. And when you chase someone, what is the tendency when you chase someone? They run the opposite direction, don't they? So you want to keep your posture up and don't chase. I'm going to show you a couple of techniques of how not to do that. All right, so let's talk about this. Okay, so here's the system, and Mr. Andres Mendoza talked about it a little bit, but here's a few systems. Peak, invite, three-way confirmation. Peak, invite, three-way confirmation. Hey, by the way, I'm going to post these slides in the Team Fusion website, on Team Fusion's Facebook, for you. Because I want people here for you guys to do this. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, because I want you guys to pay attention to it instead of just writing things down, unless like an aha idea comes around. All right, so the second one is peak, edify, pass, three-way call. Then we have peak, webinar, edify, three-way call. All these systems, I used them all, and they all work successfully. But we're going to focus on these two right now, on the peak, invite, three-way confirmation, and peak, edify, pass, three-way call. Okay, let's dig into this. When you're inviting, this is a three-way call script that I've been using for the last 2 years very successfully. Versus just calling people and explaining, because you got to always realize what your objective is. Is your objective explaining 9 levels of generational payout? Is your objective to explain what the packages have and the prices of packages? Absolutely not. Your objective is to get someone to look at a webinar, to come to a PBR and look at the presentation. That's what your objective is. So let's read this. Let's say I'm calling John. Say, hey, hi John, you have a quick minute? John says, yeah, sure, what's up? Man, I'm so excited. And I want to tell you, let me rewind here. All right, guys. I know a lot of us like to text. I love to text. I use text messages, but there's something magical about a phone call, especially now more than ever. Because back in the days, nobody wanted to answer the phone call because it was like it was taboo almost to talk about business over the phone. Now the whole culture has changed completely. Now everybody's texting, so when you call someone, they're like, oh man, they're calling me. This is serious. Does that make sense? So automatically, calling people is key. So this is a calling script. So let's say I'm calling, hey John, do you have a quick minute? He says, yeah, sure, what's up? Hey man, I'm so excited. What are you doing tomorrow at 7 o'clock? What are you doing Monday at 7 o'clock? If he tells me nothing, I say, great. If he tells me, oh, I got football, I'm gonna go to a bar. Can you cancel that? He's like, man, what are you talking about? What's up? And I said, man, I recently met some very successful people. They're expanding a huge nutraceutical company here in town. They asked me if I know anyone that, you see how it says good characteristics, is because you want to find out something good of that person. So if I'm inviting my friend, I know he has leadership quality, he has a positive mindset, I would say, man, they were asking me if I know anybody that has a positive mindset like you, that has leadership quality, and I thought about you and I thought about me. If you can add an additional $2,000 to $4,000 without jeopardizing what you're currently doing, would that be something that will help you out? I've asked that question thousands of times. I've never, not even once, somebody told me no, that wouldn't help me out. Everybody says, yes, that will help you out. Great. Be at my house at this time in town. I will send you some information soon. It's that simple. Now, did I go into explaining the compensation plan here? No. What am I doing? I'm just piquing his interest. If he has any other questions, I would say, hey, I'm going to send you some information soon. And I can have him download the application after that. But this is the confirmation. Okay, here's what's happening. When you invite like this, you got to realize that not everybody is going to come in. You got to realize that, right? Here's how you fix that. This is a peak invite three-way confirmation. Many times, how many of you guys are doing PBRs right now? By show of hands. How many of you are brand new and still have not done a PBR? By show of hands, raise your hand really high. Wow, that's a lot of people. Fantastic. So after I invited someone, let's say I sit down with John, or I sit down with Mary, and I do 20, 40 calls with her with this script. Now, this could also be where they could pass me the phone. I could be with them. I say, hey, great, be at my house. Like, great, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. David Nieves. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Alex Lee. I'm going to introduce you to Miss Amy Seeger. Let me hold on the phone so he can tell you more about it. So you can change it here. But if you're inviting yourself just to your house, and they say yes, now they gave you confirmations. What happens is this. This is a three-way confirmation. So peak invite three-way call. So now, let's say I have 40 people that told me, yes, I'm going to show up. I'll be there. Now we have to confirm it. Now some people fight us on this, by the way. They're afraid. I say, I don't want to call confirm just in case. I'm going to call my own people. That's what they say. They're going to come because it's me. That's when they're going to come. I mean, you guys had a rude awakening with that. Isn't that true? You start, but this little script right here helps out. So when I'm telling people after, let's say after I finish this right here, and now I can call or text John and say, hey John, I'm going to call you Sunday at 7 o'clock, PBR and Monday, 7 o'clock, to introduce you to Mrs. Kenley Mrs. Mendoza. She's a multiple six-figure earning and is leading the expansion of this company. She is just so super kind. I always say that because some people get strange about talking to a stranger. Man, it's gonna close me, it's gonna be a hard sell. And I say, man, this person is so kind, very relatable. You're just gonna love this person. I can't wait for you to talk to him. I'll call you tomorrow at 7 so you can meet her. This simple little thing right here. Now, when we call, when I'm calling the confirmation, the three-way calls, to confirm the people, the PBR, it's just very simple call. In fact, I'll give it to you right now. I just say, let's say I'm calling Angie. I say, hey, Angie, how you doing? This is David. John tells me some great things about you. You come highly recommended. Do you have John's address for the PBR, for the meeting that we're having? Yes, you do. Fantastic. I look forward to meet you. You come highly recommended. That's it. It's a 30-second conversation. Not even. It took me 20 seconds to say that. That little call is going to increase your show-up ratio between 50 to 70% show-up ratio. If you don't do this call, it'll be from 0 to 40 to 30% show-up ratio. Even though people told you to do that. Now, this is so simple, guys, but check this out. Ratios is 50% flake-out ratio. Now, don't get surprised with this, by the way. I see some of your faces like, and don't be surprised. Have you ever flaked on anybody? Have you ever flaked on a wedding before? How about at dinner? Have you ever flaked on a dinner? Have you ever flaked on a friend that invited you to church? You flaked on church? You see? And so you flaked on someone that invited you to church, and now you're mad because somebody's flaking on you. Does that make sense? This is just how it works. Okay, so you don't try to change this. You just go roll with the punches. Okay. So if you want 20 people in your PBR, I must have 40 confirmations. Does that make sense? Yeah. I have a philosophy. My philosophy is this: overplan and overwork. So even if things go wrong, I still win. That's my philosophy. I'm just gonna overplan, overwork. So even if things go wrong, I still win. I think it's a pretty good idea. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's talk about edification. Edification is key. Okay, if you're a brand new person, you gotta master two things. You gotta master piquing someone's interest, and you gotta master edification. That's it. Everything else is done for you. So edification is very simple. So edification, let's say I'm gonna edify Mr. James Bradford. I'm calling John. Hey John, I want to introduce you to Mr. James Bradford. Hey, I want to introduce you to Mr. James Bradford. He's one of the top executives. He's incredible in Kayani. He's leading the expansion here in Dallas, Texas. He's a person who knows how to have a lot of fun, understand his business inside and out, and most importantly, he's a family guy who cares for people to win. It's just an honor to have him on the line. So let me go ahead and click him over so you guys can connect. This is a great edification script for you guys to use, and it covers all the personalities. You guys know what I mean, the personalities, right? Yeah. You know, you have sometimes they use birds or fish, kind of weird, but okay. You got the peacocks, they're very fun, they like to have fun and party. You have the eagles, they're very driven, results driven. You have the owls, they're very detail oriented. And then you have the doves, they just want to hug everybody. Yeah, they're interdependent. Yeah. So this covers all four of the personalities. When I talk about here's expansion, he's an expert, knows how to have fun. Who am I talking to here? The peacock. Understands his business inside and out. Who am I talking about here? Owls. It's most important, he or she is a family guy. Who am I talking about here? Doves. And cares for his people and succeeding. So they'll know this business inside and out. So now we're talking about the eagle. So this is a great edification script that we to use. Okay, last minute cancellations. Do you think that there's going to be last minute cancellations in your PBR? Yes. Absolutely. So do you want to tell your people beforehand? Do you want to be proactive or reactive in this business? Proactive. So you got to let people know that cancellations are coming, and they have to handle it appropriately. They have to keep the posture. So if John calls me to cancel, I'm like, John, this is huge. You told Mrs. Mendoza you will be here. I don't want you to lose face in her eyes. John, I will share my why. I'm going to retire for this. I'm going to retire my mother from this. And you need to look at it ASAP, just in case it's something you can take advantage of. Because I don't want you to come back to me a year from now and tell me, how come you didn't fight harder for me? Trust me, being here is that important. That's posture. Does that make sense? Okay, overcoming objections. We got to talk about objections too, don't we? Are they coming? Is the pyramid question coming, yes or no? Yes. So do we want to be proactive or reactive? Proactive. So we got to talk about these, okay? Let's talk about some objections that you're going to get, okay? The key to overcoming objections is to make them feel good about it. Okay? What happens is when people tell you this is a pyramid, we get defensive, don't we? Yes. We get all defensive. You're a pyramid. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever. You were just mad. Right? So here's how you do it. Feel, felt, found. Everybody say feel. Felt. Family. So here how it works. Let's say somebody said, I want to think about it. I know how you feel. I feel the same way. I thought that I needed to think about it. But when I really thought about it, I was like, what do I really need to think about? Making more money or having more time? What exactly do I need to think about here? Does that make sense? Let me do some research. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found is that Cayenne is in 65 different countries, and that's 65 different government bodies that have done the research for us. Nice. I'm not good in sales. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found is that this is not sales, this is marketing. Sales, we go to them, marketing, they come to us. It's not for me. What's not for you? You haven't even looked at it. You can't tell me it's not for you when you haven't even looked at it. So I know how you feel, but you got to look at it first. All right. How much is it? I know how you feel. Hey, I asked how much was it before I even took a look at it. But the real question is not how much is it. The real question is how much money can I make? That's the question. Okay. MLM is saturated. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I thought that MLM, network marketing, was saturated. But what I found was that every single day people are turning 18. I also found that every single day 10,000 baby boomers are retiring daily, and they're always looking for extra income. Okay. I don't have any friends. Man, I feel sorry for you. I know how you feel. I feel the same way. That's why I joined this incredible team, and now I have hundreds of friends. I don't have time or too busy. I know how you feel, John. I felt the same way. But you told me last week that you're tired of working. You're working all week without seeing your children. You're tired of being broke. So now you're telling me that you're too busy being broke that you don't have time to get rich? That doesn't even make any sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. You're telling me you're too busy being broke that you don't have time to get rich with me. Come on. All right. Is this like Amway? I know how you feel. I feel the same way. I thought this was like Amway. But what I found is that this is nothing like Amway. We have 3 products. We have the best compensation plan where you can literally build one line and still get paid. We have an amazing done-for-you model and a team of people. This is nothing like Amway. Let me show you. Let me put you on the phone with Mr. Alex Lee so he can explain to you how exactly this is nothing like Amway. I don't have any money. I know how you feel. I feel the same way. I thought I didn't have any money when I saw this. But what I found is that if I kept doing what I was doing, I was going to keep having what I was having. So that's why I'm looking at this. Because I'm broke and I know you're broke. So we got to take a look at this together. All right, is that pretty much? I think I covered enough. Here's what I want you to understand. I want you guys to understand that these are just excuses. This is them saying, I don't see myself making money. I don't see myself with enough. We haven't built enough value for them to see themselves. That's all this is. This all it is excuses. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, PBR. Let's talk about a couple of things during the PBR. What happens? Okay, very important. Okay, your job when you have a PBR is to have confidence, enthusiasm, and posture. That's your job. When you get in front of people and you're introducing your PBR and opening up, you don't want to be like, hey guys, thank you for coming. You guys are so sweet. I invested $1,500 in this thing. I don't know if it's gonna work, but thanks for coming here. Now let me bring the phone. Actually, let me bring up. Here's Jennifer Lee. Hey Jennifer, come over. Here you go. We don't want to do that, okay? That's not what you do. You want to be like, man, I am so fired up that you guys are here. You don't understand. Man, I don't even understand this business completely, but here's what I know. I know that I'm going to be somewhere else 12 months from now because of this business. And I have an amazing individual, Miss Jennifer Lee, that's going to explain this business. She's an incredible businesswoman that's responsible for helping many other people have success. And I'm just so lucky, I cannot even believe I have her in my house. Miss Jennifer Lee, please. I'm going to get up, I'm going to shut up, and I'm just going to sit right here. Miss Jennifer Lee. Everybody give her a big hand. That's it. That's your job. Your job is to be jacked up. Preset the PowerPoint slides. I've been to presentations where everybody's, okay, let's get started, and then the TV's like, okay, let's figure this out. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Right? So these are things these are little things, guys, that seem to make no difference, but they make all the difference. You got to preset the PowerPoint slide. Upbeat music before. Have you ever walked into a house where there's no music for a PBR? It's awkward, isn't it? It's like you can hear people thinking. Just looking at each other. It's like, what the hell are we doing here? He's like, hey, Mary, you came too? He's like, do you know what this is about? I don't know. Yeah, you're laughing, but it happens. It happens. Not only that, upbeat music. Don't go to extremes. I walked into a PBR and they were playing Beethoven. No kidding, I saw a lady in the couch passed out. There were candles, lights were dim, Beethoven in the background. I was falling asleep the moment I was walking in. Then I walked into a different PBR. This is happening in Houston, Texas. A cowboy too, go figure. And I tell you this, check this out, because I never expected this. I walk into a PBR, and I didn't have time to inspect what I expect, right? I didn't have time to really coach him through everything. I was just like, hey, look at this list, make sure you have everything going. So I give him a list of these things. I got there exactly at the same time. I walked in, and this is a big old cowboy, but he just so happens to his favorite type of music is not country music. It's hard rock, like boom, boom, boom. No joke. I walk in, there's 15 people like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Rage Against the Machines. And he walks in and he clueless, he goes, hey man, what's up man? I got everything set up. Yeah. I'm like, okay, switch this now. How long have you been playing this type of music? Oh, for like 20 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh. All right, start on time, end on time. 45 minutes to an hour max. Any more than an hour, guess what's going to happen? People are going to relate PBR to pain, and if they relate it to pain, are they going to duplicate? Absolutely not. 45 minutes to an hour. Introduce guests to all your business partners. When people come in, make sure that the music's playing. You're introducing guests to your business partners. That way, it's a more happy environment. Okay. Welcome guests when you're introducing. This is for the host. When you welcome guests and you're sitting in front of the room, make sure to tell them turn off cell phone. Hold all questions to the very end. Room cold because if it's too warm, people fall asleep again. And you want to limit distractions like pets and kids. I have kids. I have like maybe 3 kids, maybe 47 more coming. Who knows? But I like kids. What can I say? But you know what? During my presentation, I don't have them. My daughter's not running around. So if you have kids, find a babysitter. On a different room and just have a babysitter. It's great. Okay, pets. I've been in meetings where I'm literally speaking and a little Shih Tzu. That's what it's called? That sounds wrong, but I hope I said it right. A little Shih Tzu starts little thing. She's like a miniature, small dog. It looks like a little mystical creature. I swear to God. And so I'm giving the presentation. I'm closing here, by the way. I'm about to go emotional, talk about my why, and talk, really, really go emotional. And you know what that little Shih Tzu does? She literally, for 6 feet, like from here to here, in front of everybody, she wipes her butt across the room. You would have to be there to understand that we laughed for about 45 minutes. We could not get it together. We couldn't. I mean, it was like perfect timing, and a 45-minute presentation lasted an hour and a half. So, no pets, okay? You can't compete with them, period. Okay? Dress how you want to be addressed, okay? Don't. If you're a host in the PBR, don't dress shorts and sandals. Dress nice jeans, nice shirt, Team Fusion t-shirts, perfect. Okay? Let's continue. All right. Keep the mood upbeat and positive. Okay? That is your job as the host. If you see someone acting up, and they're acting up to, let's say, to Ms. Nieves Trevino, she's the host, she's the presenter, and someone's acting up, and they're just like being ridiculous, because that has happened before. It's your job as the host to stop and say, Ms. Nieves Trevino, I'm sorry. Hey, John, you gotta, maybe this is not for you right now, but it's okay. Well, I'll call you tomorrow. Thank you for coming by. And just, here, put the ship down, and here's your jacket. Does that make sense? Okay, it's very important. You gotta protect your meeting. Upbeat music after. So after the meeting, You want to make sure that the music goes up immediately. Not even, you don't want to wait 5 seconds. You know why? Because people like to justify their no's. And they like to do it in front of everybody else. Let me tell you what, I'm not going to do this. And they want you to hear. And then all of a sudden, now you have these people that were ready to get started because of this one. You have one negative apple that snuck into your PBR. It kills everybody else. But if you have music, it drowns them off. And they cannot hear each other's conversation. Smart, huh? Okay, sit through the presentation. If you're the host, your job is not to be running around. This is crazy. I've been to PBRs where literally the host gets up every 5 minutes and he's like, hey, you want some coffee? Hey, you want some cookie? A cookie? I'm like, are you a waiter or a business owner? What are you? So, your job as the host is to sit up front, put your notepad, and be like, because anything you do, you're right there, your people will duplicate it. They'll be like, wow, David is like engaged in this. I better pay attention. That's exactly the mindset. Okay, so sit through the presentation. No alcohol. If your friends cannot go 45 minutes without an alcohol drink, they also need a meeting. That meeting starts with an A. In fact, you need a sponsor in that meeting too. No alcohol, okay? No alcohol. Besides, inebriated people have opinions, don't they? So no alcohol, all right? No, do not interrupt the speaker. I've been to presentations where literally I'm speaking and they're talking about the product and they go, hey, David, tell them about the Kayani car program. Oh my God, wait till you listen to this part. And like, okay, I'm getting to that part. Oh, David, and I'm talking again. He said, David, can you tell them about the promotion that we had? That promotion is incredible. And it's like, okay. And again, 45-minute presentation lasts an hour and a half, guys. We don't want to do that. All right. You have your product displayed and ask for them to buy. That's one thing in PBRs. Have your product displayed already. Have multiple sunrise and ask them and say, hey, will you support my business? Someone is not interested in buying the distribution. Just say, hey, will you support my business? Here, try this out. It's $45 or $55 for the sunrise. You don't have to buy the entire triangle, right? They can buy just one product and right there. And now you can start creating that customer loyalty. Okay? Do not ask the guests afterwards, so what do you think? Okay, we're going to sort the guests after the presentation. Let's talk about this real quick. All right, so here's the questions that you ask. What did you like best? Everybody say, what did you like best? What did you like best? And then question, do you see an opportunity for yourself? Do you see an opportunity for yourself? Let's do it one more time. Do you see an opportunity for yourself? Do you see an opportunity for yourself? If it feels good to say that, right? Yeah. Because most of you are afraid. When someone watches the presentation, you're like, okay, the presentation's over, now what do I do? I'm just in the mode, you see, look interested, you see, look, he's gonna come, you know? So this is, the key is once they say, yes, I see this opportunity for myself, have them download the application and get started right there. Say, here's how you get started, here's my name, blah, 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 David Nieves, you put that code, here's join the team, let me show you, put your email, put your information, which pack you're gonna choose. If they're not ready, guess what, they'll stop you, then they say, you know what, I have a few questions, and now real objections come out, okay? And finally, announce when someone gets started or buys the product. So the music went up in the PBR. Everybody's like going, they're talking, they're socializing, everybody's like, hey. And when the moment someone gets started, I'm putting down the music. And I'm saying, congratulations to Mr. Andres Mendoza for making a decision today to get started. You know what motivates people that are green apples? They're kind of like halfway. What motivates them is seeing somebody else do it first. So that's why I announced it. Product, the same thing. Hey, congratulations. Ms. Nina Trevino just bought herself a sunrise. Thank you very much for supporting my business. And announce it as well, okay? This is key. Love it. Okay, follow-ups. Very simple. If a person does not get started in the business, now you have the Done For You DFY event on Wednesday. We also have webinars just now, live Zoom meetings, YouTube videos, 2-on-1 presentations, and 3-way calls. So the follow-up always continues. And if this one doesn't work, guess what? I'm going for another one. This one doesn't work, I'm going for that. So I'm mix matching this. Does that make sense? Yep. So always doing this. This is the follow-up. You follow up until someone gets started. Very, very simple. So here's what I want to do. I want to do some quick testimonials, and I'm done literally in 5 minutes. I know I took too long, Mr. Bradford. I'm sorry. Okay, so I want to talk to Blue Diamond Ms. Nieves Trevino, Diamond Mr. Nick Soto, Green Diamond Ms. Heidi Staller, Diamond Ms. Kate Alexis, and Purple Diamond Mr. Alex. Let's give a big hand. Everybody up here. And I want to just to give you a 30-second to 45-second testimonial of how they launched their business with the PBR and what type of results they had.
Okay, when I first got started, I had no idea what I was doing, and so David really held my hand and assisted me. He never left me alone, and upon getting my first PBR, I really didn't even know what the heck was going on. He just said, invite everybody that you know, that trusts you, and he even gave me a script. And so that's what we did. We sat down and we just invited all these people, and half of them showed up. And what was funny was I believe we did everything right at the very beginning. And so that's why our business took off with momentum. And everybody that was there got started, and they did the same exact thing. And we were moving so fast. So the PBR really did launch my business.
Awesome. So, for those of you that don't know, Miles hit Diamond in 82 days. And so whenever he was moving at such a really crazy fast pace, David was working hand in hand with him, and he was doing PBRs back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And all I knew from the beginning, when you do everything right, people don't know what they don't know. And so I would just try to invite anybody that could get to a PBR, doing exactly what they said on this, on the scripts. Back then we didn't even have the nice launch system. And then from there, when I locked arms with Miss Kate Alexis, and she'll tell you how it affected her business, but we didn't know any different. That's all we learned was just do it, do it, do it. And for the people that did cancel on us, all we did was, okay, you can't go to the PBR, like when can you meet up? Like we met at Starbucks or PBR every single day. And I didn't hit my fast start bonus either. It took me like 45 days to go Jade, and then I went Sapphire in 60 though, because something clicked, and then I went Emerald in 90. So that's the power that PBRs can do for your business, guys. It's massive exposures in a short period of time.
Yeah, pretty similar. When I got started, I was very nervous, had no idea what I was doing, but all I knew to do was to be excited. And because I watched their success, I knew that if they could do it, I could do it too. And I was just jacked up, excited, because I knew where I was going to go. And I remember from the beginning, Heidi was always projecting her rank. She always told me, I'm about to be a Sapphire. I'm about to have a car that's paid for by the company, and I'm about to double my income. And I was like, wait, what? Like, you can't leave me here. I'm coming with you. So what do I need to do? And so, same thing. David was always there for me. And he taught me the scripts, and he taught me the system to, peak, edify, and pass. And that's all I did. I took the spotlight off of me. I stopped talking about me, and I started talking about the other people that were having success. And that's all I did. We had PBR after PBR after PBR after PBR, and we literally just packed. It was always projecting her rank. She always told me, I'm about to be a Sapphire. I'm about to have a car that's paid for by the company, and I'm about to double my income. And I was like, wait, what? Like, you can't leave me here. I'm coming with you. So what do I need to do? And so, same thing. David was always there for me. And he taught me the scripts, and he taught me the system to, peak, edify, and pass. And that's all I did. I took the spotlight off of me. I stopped talking about me, and I started talking about the other people that were having success. And that's all I did. We had PBR after PBR after PBR after PBR, and we literally just packed the house. Like, I remember one PBR, we had like 70 to 100 people. It was actually Miss Christy Kendall's first PBR where she presented, and it was absolutely incredible. But that's all we did, and that's how I also hit Emerald in less than 90 days. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can honestly say that I would not be up here on the stage if it wasn't for PBRs in my business. Yeah. At the beginning of this journey, I had no idea what a PBR was. I was like, man, what does bull riding have to do with this industry? I've never heard of that word before. But I can honestly say, what would you rather do? Would you rather drive around for 20 days and reach out to one person and meet up with one person a day? Or would you rather put 20 people in a room and then put them in front of Mr. Alex Lee or Mr. David Nieves? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's simple, it's duplicatable, it's intimate. And how many successful businesses out there like Google, Apple, Facebook, were founded in dorm rooms or living rooms and things like that, So business is done in living rooms, you guys. And it really, really, really will help you with the massive exposures, you know, building around the other events, because your business just doesn't stop because there's no DFY that night, you know? So set up a PBR, get the leaders to do the heavy lifting for you. You know, they will explode your business, I promise. Thank you.
Obviously, we love the webinar, but this is golden right here. The PBR is everything. I am a true fan of PBR. When Joel got started, the first PBR, we had 10 people. We signed up about 6 people. The second PBR that we have, Fiore, supposed to be for 40 people. 75 people show up, right? We were supposed to do on a Sky Lounge. 75 people show up, right? So 75 people show up. We got people sign up. The next one, we have to do it outside. We have to do it outside in the park. So it's 125 people. So out of that 125 people, I found Tito Silva. So here's the thing, whatever you do, your team do the same thing. They don't know any better. They saw 125. The next time I went to his house, he got 65 people there. And the next PBR, after that, he got 75 people there. And that's a power in PBR, because people feel comfortable in your house. But you gotta, this is the key right here that they will teach you. I mean, you can have a lot of people, but this is golden key tips right here. So if you haven't had a PBR yet, do one, please.
Let's give it a big hand. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about PBRs, and that stands for Private Business Receptions, by the way. Short for PBR. So let's go out there and schedule our PBRs. Lastly, I want to leave you with a short message. You know, going out there and building a business, it's not easy. You're going to come across opposition. You're going to come across negative people. You're going to come across people that don't see your vision. But let me tell you something, guys. Don't be so caught up in someone else not seeing your vision. It's your vision, nobody else's vision. Here's what your job is. Your job is to keep that North Star in front of you. That North Star, your why, your dream, that North Star, you keep it in front of you. You don't look left, you don't look right, you focus. That's what your job is. And you put one foot in front of the other, and you don't have to listen to anybody. It's gonna come, you're gonna have, there's always a learning curve with something like this, always. I love what Theodore Roosevelt said. Never throughout life has a man that lived the life to the east left a name worth remembering. So don't try to avoid failure. Don't try to avoid the struggle. You know, the very word failure, the very word success or failure, success, when you say success, it implies failure. Because there cannot be no success without failure. That's right. How do you tell the difference? You can't. There's no day without night. The word that day implies night. Because there's no day without night. It's the same thing here. You cannot, there's no such, you have to put one foot in front of the other and focus. You don't look left, you don't look right. It's not their vision, it's your vision. And you gotta focus on your vision. You see, I like to give you this example. I have a screen right here, I'm looking at it. Can you see it? No. But does that make it any less for me, any less real? No, it doesn't. I see it. And I'm telling you, man, you don't understand what I'm looking at right now. This is incredible. This is amazing. And you're like, but I don't see it. You know, you're not, right now, you're not meant to see it. Doesn't make it any less real for me. It's real for me. My vision is real for me. My job is to not look left, not look right, but focus. That's what my job is. Focus on your North Star. You see, they're going to tell you all sorts of things. People will tell you crazy things. Don't worry about it. But here's what they don't see. Here's what people don't see. They see the struggle. They see the effort that it takes. That's what they see. They don't see a pastor coming to me and telling me they need help. We have a project and I say, how much do you need? They don't see that. They don't see a friend going to the hospital and say, hey, I'm in trouble, I want you to take me to the hospital. And the hospital say, we cannot help him for what he has. You don't understand, I'm writing a check. They don't see that. They don't see my mother picking her up in retiring her. Yeah. Man, her eyes crying. It was just incredible. They don't see that. They don't see my aunt calling me, telling me, David, I need help. Auntie, you've been taking care of you took care of me my entire life. It's my turn. You call in to work, you're done working for the rest of your life. They don't see that. They don't see my daughter being in life support for 3 days. And me, I didn't have to ask permission. I didn't have to call a job. I didn't have to worry about my finances. Immediately after she got out of the hospital, I called the doctor. Doctor, can we leave? He's like, yeah, you can do whatever. She's fine now. We go for 10 days to Disney World. Put my cell phone away 10 days fully with my daughters. You see, people don't see that. They see the struggle. They see the effort. That's what they see. But your job is just don't look left, don't look right. You focus. You focus on your North Star, and you don't let anybody rob your dreams, okay? Thank you very much, guys.